morning, good evening, whatever it is, wherever you are, YouTube. So the Royal Enfield Interceptor video has been uploaded and it's currently live. Thank you for everyone that's watched it, and if you haven't, watch it. But I wanted to go and make a secondary video really detailing how that video was made, because it wasn't quite a typical video. With the bike being a very old style bike, I wanted to kind of give at least the intro a very old school feel, a very retro feel, and I decided that one of the ways I could do that was by going with shooting the intro on the Super 8 film, which is definitely not a cheap endeavour, but definitely gave the right sort of feel for it, and also to do all the still photography and things like that on 35mm film. So that initial opening sequence is actually shot on technology that came out in 1967 for home video making. It's not an Instagram filter, it's not something added in post-production. That is almost exactly as it came out the scanner, being shot on photographic film, on movie film. So that took a bit of work, making sure the camera, sourcing a camera and getting it ready to go. There was still a small fault with the camera, which is why the sort of picture jumps about at the beginning a little bit. But that was something that calmed down as the camera was used. It hadn't been run for 30 years. I mean, the camera's from the mid-1970s and it hadn't been run for about 30 years. So that was always going to be a bit iffy as it found its feet. We cleaned out the film gate, things like that, and by the end, by the shots where I'm walking around, the camera's running nice and smoothly. So I will use that camera again somewhere. But also with 35mm film, as it expires, the colours shift and things change, and you get a bit of extra grain and you get lower contrast and all sorts of things that can make it look like a much older shot than it really is. So the photography, I can't speak today, the photography was done obviously black and white film for the black and white stills, so there isn't a lot of reason to use an expired film stock there, because black and white is black and white, and it's a well stored black and white will still look good 20 or 30 years later. But obviously colour photographs, their colours change, so I used a film that expired in 2003, so it's 17 years out of date, and it has given us some subtle colour shifts and made the photos look a bit older than it was. So this is basically just a quick look at how we did that and how we went about filming. Like I said, it actually took 3 of us, because we had a chase car with a camera mounted to the back bumper, still photography, someone out filming on the Super 8 camera, and yeah, it took 3 of us almost a complete day to film. But I think the feel of the video paid off dividends. I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. So let's have a look at how that was done. And that's it with the storyboard mapped out. We know what we're going to do. You have to go through and obviously learn some of the key points on the bike, but it's really important to not overly script these things, because you won't be able to actually sit and recite from a script while you're riding. It's much harder than people think it is to talk and ride at the same time. It's been something that I find easier than some, but any YouTuber that does car videos will tell you quite often they end up just cutting them to pieces, because they'll say something, then something will happen on the road that will command your attention, and you need to take care of that, and then you go back into your spiel, so to speak. And it's just one of the things that's, again, more difficult than it would appear to be. So trying to recite from a script is just not going to work, and you don't know what you're going to find until you ride the bike, and you'll only get one shot at it. I mean, we had the bike for about 2 hours, so the initial process was to take the bike to the stills and shoot the intro.
Mason literally putting his life on the line for a shot. There's a car cutter's van coming, Matt, so just be careful, mate. Oh, it's turning in. Oh well. You'll survive for now. Literally is the effort that Phil goes to produce your quality viewing. We've got cameras, we've got digital camera over here, cine film. 3 tripods. It took 3 tripods for that shot. It's the exciting part of the photo shoot. Phil's sorting through his equipment, trying to find the lens filter.
And we actually did the chase footage with a GoPro mounted to the bumper of the car, and did that between each static location, and it just worked out really well. That's why you don't see the chase car in the footage. It was done while we go shot to shot. So you go around, you do your stills. We did the Super 8 intro. Obviously, I've got the open face helmet on there, and then when we go to do the actual ride on the second lap of the circuit, obviously I've got to put my full face helmet on because that's the one that's got the camera mount and the microphone. So 2 complete circuits, only about 12 or 13 miles in total, but about 2 hours worth of work at least, if not a tiny bit more. But that's just again how it goes. If you want the aesthetically correct shots, I can't use the helmet that's got the microphone in it. And miking up an open face helmet is really not an option. So that's how we did that one. And yeah, so then it's just a matter of the editing. So with the Super 8 video shot, it's time now, head down the M1 to London. We're going to a company called On 8 Mill. They're going to be doing the video processing, so it's nice and early in the morning to avoid the traffic. We're going to be getting there first thing in the morning. But yeah, heading down to London, get the Super 8 processed. They're going to send it off to a lab in Germany. They do the actual processing work, then they'll send me back scans initially by email, and then I'll get the actual film back in the post about 3 weeks time. So this is our next step, down the motorway. Right, so parked up. Next steps, head on to the tube. There's not really an awful lot to see when we get to 8 Mill. It's just a building with some film scanners and things in it. So yeah, we're going to hop on the tube, but catch up with you now when it's time for some editing. We shoot on a DSLR as a reference, and then a sound recorder. I'm not going to use the DSLR sound because it's not particularly clean. It's quite echoey and a bit hollow. And I've got an off-board sound recorder which gives a much better sound. But I need something to tie the sound and the audio together. So we do use a clapboard. You'll often see people just like that, and that gives you a reference as well. But the clapboard creates a really obvious index on the video.
Valve clearances.
It's very, very obvious where it hits because nothing else looks like it, and you clap once for the first scene, twice for the second scene, 3 times for the third. In movies, they do other things like rotate it 180 degrees if it's the end of a scene and things like that. But basically what we do is then I can sync the sound recorder's audio to the DSLR audio because it looks exactly the same. You can see how I do that here. And then I can find a point on the road that I ride past, move the Super 8 footage to the same point. I now know that everything's synced because I don't want to waste Super 8 footage using the clapboard because you only get about 3 minutes worth of film for £71. So it's not something you want to be wasting with clapboards while I turn around in the road further up. So we get the bike to the same point visually. We can then take the DSLR footage out the middle, and the audio recorder and the Super 8 are synced together.
Hold on, girl, now wait just a minute. I've got something to say, you should hear it. Oh, I'm happy to make time for your feelings, but you have to admit I already do. Let's just break it down to you and me uptown, dancing all around till the disco ball pops, but I have to be me, and everyone can see your anger is misplaced, and I'm gonna tell ya, don't hate me 'cause I get attention, don't turn me into what I'm not, I have to be me 24/7, and I ain't never gonna stop. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Oh, no, no, no. No, oh, oh, oh. And I ain't never gonna stop. Come on.
So it's a bit of a faff, but it does mean recording lots of footage. The other thing, of course, is the Super 8 camera is a complete unknown. I couldn't guarantee I'd got anything usable out that Super 8 camera. So by having the DSLR sighted right next to it, I had a backup if all of the Super 8 footage came out blank or failed completely or unusably. As it was, there was the fault which causes the scene to jump a little bit. It's called gate ride, and it actually improves throughout the shots. And it's just purely because the camera hasn't been used for 30 or 40 years, and it was just lubing itself and working some tight spots out. But it was not to the point it's impossible to use the footage. But yeah, so the DSLR also serves as a backup. The other thing, of course, it takes is a hell of a lot of battery charging and planning, because the DSLR's got batteries in it, the audio recorder's got batteries in it, the Super 8, everything's got batteries in it. So actually just coordinating everything so everything will be in the right place. The only thing that didn't require any batteries were the actual SLR cameras themselves. So there you go, that's just a quick look at what happens behind the scenes. There's a lot more work to it than some people realise, but it's all good fun, we enjoy it, and that's why we do it. I mean, that's the primary reason I make these videos, because I enjoy doing so. But yeah, hopefully it's given you a bit more insight. We will have more vlogs and more bike reviews coming up in the not too distant future as well. In the meantime, if you're not subscribed, please do. There is currently 95% of people that watch this channel are not subscribed to it. So hit that subscription button and bell, hit the like button, leave us a comment, and we'll see you soon in another video.